What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Wrestling World Podcast. I am your host, AJ. Before we get into tonight's video, hit that like and sub button and hit that notification bell for your latest wrestling news, rumors, content, and spoilers. I just finished watching the CM Punk, Paul Heyman, and Seth Rollins segment. So let's dive into this because there's a lot to talk about. Paul Heyman comes down to the ring. He gives his thoughts, saying he will never betray Roman. He will never betray Punk. Seth Rollins comes down to the ring, basically tells Paul Heyman that Roman does not care for him. Roman just wants him to shine his shoes and order his steaks. He then goes on to say that CM Punk does not care for Paul Heyman and that CM Punk only cares for himself. He then goes on to say that Roman never helped Paul Heyman when Solo Sikoa and the Bloodline 2.0 attacked him. He said, where was Roman when all this happened? Did he come save you? To where Paul replied, no. And he said CM Punk is only pretending to be his friend because he knows that CM Punk could get something out of this. So then Seth Rollins goes on to say that he wishes there was a way to remove Paul Heyman. Seth Rollins says, Paul, you're in over your head. You shouldn't be involved. I can remove you myself. I would take a privilege in removing you myself. He then goes on to slap Paul Heyman. He goes on to push Paul Heyman. He shoves him into the corner. CM Punk rushes out to the ring, and they start brawling. But this time, Seth Rollins gets the best of CM Punk. Hits CM Punk with a curb stomp, and then almost hits Paul Heyman. But then Seth Rollins gets on the mic and he says, now you owe me a favor. So, what could that favor be? Let's talk about it. Now we know the favor that Paul Heyman owes CM Punk. And that CM Punk wants Paul Heyman in his corner. But what could the favor be that Seth Rollins wants out of Paul Heyman? Now, I said earlier in a few videos, I said, I don't want to dive too much into Seth Rollins siding with Paul Heyman. Because this story is mostly about CM Punk and Roman Reigns. But now, I think we may just be getting one of the biggest twists in WrestleMania. What if Paul Heyman decides to align himself with Seth Rollins? Think about it. This could be the favor. Seth Rollins could ask Paul Heyman to turn on CM Punk and Roman Reigns. Now, it's been the topic of discussion for a week now, guys. A lot of people are saying that Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman could join forces. And we could be seeing that. Seth Rollins could tell Paul Heyman, I want you to screw over both Roman and CM Punk at WrestleMania. Align yourself with me. And that's that. So, I see two things happening. Paul Heyman does this, forcibly. He doesn't want to do it, but he has to. So, while technically that's, may not be considered a heel turn, if Paul Heyman doesn't want to do it, but what if he does? What if he buys into everything Seth Rollins told him about Roman not caring for him and CM Punk only caring for himself? What if Paul Heyman buys into that and turns on Roman and CM Punk at WrestleMania? It's a very well possibility. I don't know. But the favor looks self-explanatory, guys. I think we are going to get Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman aligned. Because what else could it be? There's no title involved. There's no. This isn't a number one contenders match. This is mostly just for bragging rights if you think about it. Seth Rollins hates Punk. Seth Rollins hates Roman. Best way to get back at him, turn Paul Heyman against Roman Reigns and both Punk. It would make sense. So that's what I think the favor is. But maybe Paul Heyman sides with CM Punk. Maybe Paul Heyman does the impossible, does the unthinkable. Maybe WWE wants us to think that Paul Heyman could side with Seth Rollins. Maybe he turns and sides with CM Punk. Right now, we don't know. But I'm going to call it. Paul Heyman turns on both Punk and Roman, sides with Seth Rollins. Think it's clear as day now, right? As much as I didn't want to think that early on in the beginning, I think it's clear as day. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I enjoyed this segment. What about you? Hit that like and subscribe button. Have a good night, guys. I love you.